Welcome to a special deep dive investigation. What you are about to see is a story so convoluted, so layered with deception and tragedy, that it stretches the boundaries of belief. But through months of investigation, confidential source interviews, and leaked documents, we have pieced together a narrative that reveals the shocking truth about Rob Warne and Sophie Sierra. Even after their divorce, Rob Warne and Sophie Sierra secretly went on room dates multiple times, hinting at the complexity and secrecy of their relationship. Finally, Sophie Sierra pregnant with Rob Warne's DNA. But that wasn't the end. Shocking revelations soon emerged. According to confidential sources, 90 Day Fiancé star Rob Warne became entangled in nearly $200,000 of debt through online gambling platforms. As he failed to repay the debt, a lawsuit was filed against him, and he was subsequently arrested. With this truth exposed, the situation turned even more tragic. Let's go back to the beginning. Sophie Sierra, a 23-year-old from a well-to-do family in London, met Rob Warne, a 32-year-old from California, online. Their connection was instant, and after a whirlwind online romance, Sophie applied for a K-1 visa to come to the United States. Almost immediately, red flags began to appear. Rob's living situation was not what he had portrayed. He lived in a small, cluttered space, a far cry from the successful image he had projected. The lies started small but grew exponentially. Trust eroded. Arguments over money, secrecy, and Rob's controlling behavior became the focal point of their season. The core issue was always truth. Sophie felt she could never get it, and Rob seemed pathologically incapable of giving it. By the end of their season and the subsequent tell-all, it was clear the relationship was doomed. Shortly after the show aired, both confirmed on social media that they had parted ways. The audience breathed a sigh of relief for Sophie. It was over. Or so we all thought. Because our investigation reveals that the end of their televised relationship was merely the beginning of a much darker, more private, and deeply troubling saga. The official narrative was clean. A clean break. But according to multiple sources close to both parties, the emotional ties were far more difficult to sever. In the months following their split, Rob and Sophie were, by all public appearances, living separate lives. Sophie was seen in London, rebuilding her life. Rob was in Los Angeles, occasionally posting cryptic messages on social media. But behind the scenes, a different story was unfolding. A story of late-night phone calls, emotional dependency, and secret meetings. Our sources indicate that Sophie flew back to the United States on at least 4 separate occasions between December 2023 and March 2024. These trips were not posted on her social media. They were, for all intents and purposes, off the grid. It was like they were addicted to the drama. They'd say they were done, then he'd call her crying, saying he was lost without her. She'd feel guilty. Or maybe she just missed the chaos, and she'd book a flight. They'd meet at these mid-level hotels near Lax, places where they wouldn't be recognized. It was never about reconciliation. It was about closure, or maybe just habit. We managed to obtain exclusive, time-stamped receipts from one such hotel, the Skyway Inn, from February 14th, 2024, Valentine's Day. The room was booked under a pseudonym, but the credit card used was linked to an associate of Rob's. Rob didn't want anyone to know. He was trying to craft a new image online, playing the single successful guy. Seeing Sophie undermined that. And Sophie, I think she was vulnerable. She had spent so long in that toxic cycle with him that it felt normal. These meetings were intense. They'd fight, they'd cry, and then they'd reconnect. Physically, it was a mess. This pattern continued for months, a destructive dance between two people who knew they were bad for each other but couldn't let go. It was during one of these clandestine meetings in early April that the course of both their lives would be irrevocably changed. In mid-May, Sophie Sierra abruptly stopped posting on social media. Her typically lively Instagram stories went dark. Friends in London commented on her sudden unavailability. Rumors began to swirl, but nothing was confirmed, until we received a tip from a medical source in the UK. According to a confidential informant within a private London clinic, Sophie Sierra underwent pregnancy confirmation testing in late May. The test was positive. Our source, who spoke on condition of anonymity due to strict patient privacy laws, confirmed the timeline aligned perfectly with her last known secret visit to Los Angeles. Sophie was terrified and alone. She knew the father was Rob Warne. She was in a state of extreme distress. She was clear about the father's identity and the complicated nature of their relationship. Her primary concern was the immense stress she was under and the well-being of the pregnancy. She was not sure what she was going to do. Sophie, according to our sources, finally gathered the courage to call Rob in early June. She needed support. She needed to figure out what to do next. But the man who answered the phone was not the man she had secretly been seeing. Rob absolutely panicked. This was his worst nightmare. A baby. It was a permanent tether to a situation he was desperately trying to hide from. He went from pleading with her to suggesting solutions that were not keeping the baby. He became cold, accusing her of trying to trap him. It was a brutal, heartbreaking conversation. Sophie felt completely abandoned. Again. Sophie, facing an impossible situation alone, retreated from the world. She stopped taking Rob's calls. She was, according to friends, weighing her options, devastated by his reaction. She believed the father of her child had once again revealed his true cruel colors. But the truth, as we would soon discover, was that Rob Warne was panicking for a reason far more sinister than simply not wanting a child. He was facing a catastrophe of his own making, a catastrophe that was about to explode into public view. To understand Rob's sheer panic, we must rewind several months. While his on-screen persona was that of a man struggling to get by, behind the scenes, Rob Warne was cultivating a secret and devastating addiction. According to legal documents we have obtained and two independent sources with direct knowledge, Rob Warne was deeply involved in online sports betting and high-stakes virtual poker. It started small, a way to escape the pressures of his failing relationship and his financial woes, but it quickly spiraled. Rob always had a thing for the quick fix, the get-rich-quick scheme. He saw gambling as his way out. He'd talk about a big score that would solve all his problems. He'd win a few hundred, feel like a king, and then lose thousands the next night. He was in deep, and he was hiding it from everyone. Our sources provided us with screenshots of Rob's accounts on several offshore gambling platforms that operate in a legal gray area but are notoriously aggressive in debt collection. The numbers are staggering. By April of 2024, according to a consolidated debt notice we have seen, Rob Warne owed a total of $197,658 to 3 separate online gambling syndicates. The interest was accruing daily. How does someone with no visible means of support accumulate such a massive debt? The answer lies in the shadowy world of online credit. Legal experts say these platforms are often based overseas, outside the jurisdiction of U.S. banking laws. They extend lines of credit to users based on flimsy checks, if any. They operate on a model of addiction. They allow users to dig a hole so deep that escape seems impossible. Then they use intimidation and legal threats to collect. The interest rates are loan shark level. Rob, our sources say, was receiving increasingly threatening emails and phone calls. He was dodging collectors. The facade of the cool, collected guy he tried to portray online was crumbling under the weight of nearly $200,000 of debt. And then the lawsuits began. In late May, just as Sophie was discovering her pregnancy, a lawsuit was filed in a California civil court against Robert Warne. The lawsuit was the gambling syndicate's first official step toward recouping their money. Rob was served with papers. He now had a legal obligation to respond. He failed to do so. Legal experts say, failing to respond to a lawsuit is one of the worst things you can do. The court will typically issue a default judgment against you. This means the plaintiff automatically wins the monetary award. Once they have that judgment, they have the full power of the court to enforce it. This can include garnishing wages, placing liens on property, and, in cases of defiance or failure to comply with court orders, a bench warrant for your arrest for contempt of court. That is exactly what happened. The court granted a default judgment against Rob for the full amount, plus court costs and interest, pushing the total well over $200,000. The court ordered him to appear for a debtor's examination, a hearing where he would be forced to disclose all his assets under oath. Rob Warne did not show up. He was in complete denial. He thought if he ignored it, it would go away. He was hiding in his apartment, paranoid, jumping at every knock on the door. He knew he had nothing to declare. No real job, no significant assets. Showing up would have been admitting the truth on an official record. He couldn't face it. The judge, frustrated with Rob's disregard for the court, issued a bench warrant for his arrest. And on the morning of June 18, 2024, the other shoe finally dropped. Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies arrived at Rob's last known address. They knocked. After a brief moment, the door opened. Robert Warne was placed under arrest on a charge of contempt of court for failure to appear at a debtor's examination. He was processed and taken to a county jail to be held until a hearing could be scheduled. The irony was brutal. He was so terrified of being exposed as a financial failure, of people knowing he was broke, that he did the one thing that would guarantee his financial ruin, and his public humiliation would be blasted across the internet forever. He got himself arrested for being broke. The news of Rob's arrest broke on celebrity gossip sites within hours. Mugshot, charges, the staggering amount of debt. The world finally saw the truth Rob had been desperately hiding. And in a quiet apartment in London, a pregnant Sophie Sierra saw the news on her phone. Our sources close to Sophie describe her reaction as one of utter devastation, but also horrifying clarity. She collapsed. It wasn't just the shock of the arrest. It was the number, $200,000. In that single moment, every fight about money, every lie, every secretive moment, every weird excuse, it all made sense. His panic about the baby wasn't just about not wanting a child. It was because he was financially drowning and about to take everyone down with him. She felt sick. She felt betrayed on a level she didn't even know was possible. Rob was released on bail after a few days, but his world had evaporated. His social media was flooded with angry comments from fans and ridicule from critics. Any prospect of future television deals or influencer sponsorships was dead. He was facing a future defined by this debt and this arrest. But the greater tragedy, perhaps, belongs to Sophie. She is now facing motherhood alone, tied forever to a man who represents the worst period of her life. The father of her child is a national headline for fraud and financial ruin. The secret meetings, the hope for closure, the fleeting moments of reconnection, all of it was happening while he was secretly setting a bomb under both their lives. She is resolved to raise this child on her own. She wants nothing to do with Rob. She's terrified that his debt, his lies, his chaos, will somehow become her child's inheritance. She's trying to find peace. But how do you find peace when the person you created a life with is a living, breathing catastrophe? The story of Rob and Sophie is no longer a reality TV storyline. It is a stark human tragedy. It's a story about the addictive nature of toxic relationships and how the need to hide shame can lead to ever deeper levels of self-destruction. Rob Warne's addiction to the quick fix, be it a relationship or a gambling win, has cost him everything: his freedom, his reputation, and now, a chance to know his own child. Sophie Sierra, a young woman who simply followed her heart, now bears the lifelong consequences of his secrets. She is left to pick up the pieces, to build a stable life for her child from the rubble of a relationship that was built on lies from the very beginning. It is a heartbreaking reminder that sometimes the most dramatic stories are the ones that happen after the cameras stop rolling. What do you think about this shocking turn of events? Should Sophie allow Rob into their child's life? Can Rob ever recover from this? Let us know in the comments below. More update. 90-day fiancé drama. Rob Warne shocks fans with new revelations. Rob Warne didn't let Sophie attend the Hunt for Love tell-all special. Insiders say he threw a huge tantrum behind the scenes. But that's not all. Rob himself revealed that he hooked up with Sophie after the show ended, yet he has no plans to get back together with her. In a heartbreaking update, Rob also shared that he recently lost a precious family member, leaving fans sending him condolences. Meanwhile, Sophie Sierra stunned everyone by posting a brand new gym selfie, showing off her perfect figure and drawing praise from fans for looking absolutely gorgeous. I will explain everything. A lot of effort is going into Rob Warne's attempt to make amends. His recent portrayal as a good guy, following his derogatory comments about Sophie Sierra on Hunt for Love Tell All, has been something he is thoroughly enjoying. During the show, the 90-Day Fiancé star also discussed her recent romantic adventures, after TLC dropped hints that Sophie's ex would make an unexpected cameo at the reunion. Many viewers wondered if she would actually show up. Her absence from the segment came as a shock to them. Her decision not to participate in the episode has been finally explained by the TLC star. Sophie was mostly absent due to Rob Warne, which was a surprising development. It has been reported that he flat out refused to allow his wife to appear on the show. However, why is that? How did he accomplish that? Sophie was to appear on the tell-all, wasn't she? This is all the information you require. Sophie Sierra and Rob Warne broke up a long time ago. Legally though, they still can't sever relations. Following the last resort, the cast of 90-Day Fiancé got back together. But when they were unable to overcome their jealousy and move on permanently, Rob and Sophie sought a divorce. In an effort to broaden their dating pool, the former participated in the Hunt for Love program. After failing to win Jen over, he exited the show without a girlfriend. The reality TV star's shocking confession about his repeated post-show hookups with Sophie startled fans. Upon receiving their expectations, they made the decision to cease. Also, Warne has spoken up about his ex-wife's current relationship. He stated that she was in a relationship with Pedro Jimeno. The TLC singer went so far as to say that the latter is really vengeful and that she contacted him on numerous occasions at the resort due to her envy. The adventure that Rob and Sophie have is the most dramatic in the franchise. The second group wreaked havoc on the first in tell-all, The Last Resort. She stated that he was involved with males and that he provided them with NSFO services online. The Hunt for Love Tell-all appearance by the TLC star must have been terrifying to Warne. The speculations that have been circulating regarding Sophie and Pedro were recently addressed by Sophie. She took to TikTok to criticize her ex-boyfriend for discussing their relationship at a reunion, which she didn't seem to corroborate or dispute in her narrative. Therefore, the 90-Day Fiancé star's co-star Tyre was disappointed that she wasn't featured on the program. "It was so strange that they didn't include you," he wrote. At last, Sierra verified that she was indeed expected to attend. However, Rob had a major temper tantrum just before it, and I was unable to continue because of it, Shah said. A Reddit user posted the screenshot to a thread in which people were discussing Warne's decision not to allow his wife to appear at the tell-all. But most people were relieved that Sophie wouldn't be appearing on TV again. What is she going to do? Go and complain that Rob was absolutely cheating on her? Asked one fan. The TLC star's desperation for attention stunned another user. Another commenter accused the TLC star of being immature and dishonest. Rob reveals he H00 ked up with Sophie after Hunt for Love, but doesn't want to get back with her. On 90-Day Fiancé, Rob Warne and Sophie Sierra are prepared to cause more trouble. After departing the resort, the former admitted to hooking up with the latter. He reconciled with his estranged wife following his heartbreak on Hunt for Love with Jennifer Tarazona. The Native American decided to get back into dating and joined the show. On the episode, Warne's wild romances with Jennifer and Elise caused back-to-back controversy. Tarazona would choose him, and they would both depart from the resort, according to several watchers. Reality TV star, however, was forced to depart from the show while still unmarried. Rob returns to the tell-all to fill us in on his latest news. When fans find out how difficult his relationship is with Sophie, they are astonished. How much did Rob divulge regarding his marital status? Is he yet in Sophie's life? The relationship between Rob Warne and Sophie Sierra was the most difficult on 90-Day Fiancé. They dumped each other online after breaking up on The Last Resort. Reunion viewers were taken aback when the pair admitted to engaging in physical altercations following the broadcast. Rob took part in Hunt for Love in the hopes of meeting a new life partner. He has not legally divorced Sophie. People were therefore anticipating the latter's response to her partner's current show. The reality TV star inexplicably heaped criticism on her divorced hubby. The televised episodes included a reunion of the whole Hunt for Love ensemble. Surprise visit from exes was already hinted at in the teaser by TLC. The segment's presence by Sophie has not been confirmed by the network. If given the chance, her followers think she will use it to bring her ex down. Having the TLC star, there would undoubtedly cause some TV drama. Since his breakup from Sophie Sierra, Rob Warne has been openly embracing the single life. He denied any involvement with his ex while exploring several possibilities on Hunt for Love. At first, Elise couldn't believe her co-star was actually Sophie's husband. She thought he had taken the surprise factor out of the news. To that end, viewers were prepared for the forthcoming tell-all episodes to address Rob's marital status. Just recently, TLC released the episode teaser. Rob discussed his relationship status with Sophie in it. After his wife declined to recommit to him, the ex admitted on the last resort that he was fine with moving on. He declared, "However, we were getting back together somewhat after I departed from the resort." The news of Rob and Sophie's new dynamic shocked the entire ensemble. But as soon as expectations began to creep in, one admitted that they stopped being. Rekindling the relationship was not in his plans. Why was it acceptable for the 90-day fiancé star to with his ex? Suki wanted to know. With a slight grin on his face, Rob stated, "I don't really know." After much back and forth, Rob finally broke the news that they are still legally married, but that it is difficult to go on. He let it be known that they had both moved on before he revealed Sophie's new relationship. According to Rob, Sophie might be seeing Pedro, who was Chantal's ex-boyfriend. He's gone. 90-Day Fiancé star Rob Warne loses precious family member. The greatest nightmare that Rob Warne has ever experienced is happening right now. He just revealed the devastating news of a family member's unfathomable death, which devastated him to no end. A beloved family member has passed away, and the 90-Day Fiancé star is mourning the loss. On television, Rob Warne rarely talked about his family. He became famous due to his relationship with Sophie Sierra. The most poisonous and troubled marriage ever belonged to the TLC stars. Despite their on-screen split on The Last Resort, Rob and Sophie's marriage remains valid. Divorce is imminent for the reality TV stars. So, Rob has already signed up for Hunt for Love in order to find a new partner. Unfortunately, he did not discover the one on the show. The Americans' shocking revelation of the unanticipated death of a family member stunned fans. How much did he divulge? Rob, how is he handling everything? Rob Warne's explosive chemistry with Jennifer Tarazona caused a great deal of criticism. The latter, however, left him for coal at the last minute. Because of this, the 90-Day Fiancé actor has been single ever since the episode ended. When Rob finally revealed the most recent details about his relationship with Sophie Sierra, it shocked his fans. He came clean about his multiple post-show with his ex. When the reality TV star's demands began to rise, they decided to end the relationship. Now that Sophie had refused to recommit to him, Rob was hesitant to return to her. Her purported with Pedro Jimeno was another topic he covered. The native-born American addressed the claims by saying that his ex can be too vengeful at times. According to Tim, who corroborated Rob's statement, Sierra was envious and contacted him at the resort many times a night. Currently, Rob Warne is experiencing the most difficult period of his life. Seems like he's lost someone dear to him. The TLC performer broke the stunning news recently in an Instagram story. Warne posted a picture of Rome's paw on social media. On a world where everything was changing, he said, "He was my rock." From 3 months old to 13 years, the reality TV personality's dog was at his side. It was hard for Rob to accept that his best friend had departed. He cradled him in his arms right up until he passed away. By his own admission, he was all man. The loss of his dearest friend left the American feel more alone than he had ever felt before. If there existed a paradise, Rob's Furby would be able to find him there. In addition, he posted a vintage photo of his adoring cat. Rob's statements demonstrated the depth of his emotions following the tragedy. The increasing age of his pet made him dread the day, while his co-actress Julia was grieving the loss of her pet Simba. The 90-Day Fiancé star said that his pet was getting on in years. Fans are already aware of Rob's intense bond with his pet. Losing a pet is a devastating experience. Many viewers were holding out hope that the reality TV personality would get over it. They also reached a consensus. No one can ever recover from the pain of losing a pet. For many viewers, it's like having miniature people living in their own homes. In search of other Rob-related updates, Sophie Sierra flaunts her perfect figure in new gym selfie. Looks stunning. For the last several months, the TLC star has prioritized her own health and fitness by going to the gym regularly. Her new figure has captivated Sierra. Following her split from Warne, she started prioritizing her health and fitness. She achieved her desired figure after losing a significant amount of weight. The reality TV star's perseverance and commitment have served as an example to her fans. What really shows how committed Sophie is to her fitness journey is that she has even started a new job. Her waist trainers, which she designed and manufactured herself, have been selling like hotcakes among her fans. Does she appear different now? How has she spent her time? Guests on 90 Days of Love Sophie and Rob's split was revealed on The Last Resort. They made multiple attempts to maintain amicable relations and salvage their marriage. But when they couldn't work through their differences, the pair ended their relationship. Even after they broke up at the recommitment ceremony, Sophie and Rob couldn't seem to separate themselves from one another. During their time together on Between the Sheets, the second confessed. When Sophie began to develop romantic love for him again, they ceased, as she would later admit. She thought it would be a wonderful idea to end their marriage and start over. The reality actress from TLC revealed that she was seeing a sugar daddy who was 94 years old. It was all in good fun, Sophie explained afterwards. These days, Sophie Sierra is all about taking care of herself and becoming in shape. She makes it a point to work hard so she can achieve her ideal body type. Being so far along her path and having lost so much weight has made the TLC star very proud of herself. In October of 2024, Sophie declared that she had lost 17 pounds. Since her split from Warne, she has been showing off her new slim figure and has become unstoppable. She shared several media files, including photos and videos, from her most recent exercise session not long ago. Sophie took a video of herself working out in order to flaunt her trim waist and toned body. In addition, she posted a selfie wearing a blue bra top and waist trainers. The reality TV personality showed off her toned body while listening to music on her headphones. Additionally, Sophie allowed her fans a front row seat to her metamorphosis. In order to highlight her strong physique and jawline, she filmed herself from above. It is likely that the reality TV personality is pushing her latest line of waist trainers. Nonetheless, the breathtaking new figure left people in awe. Many of them were unsure if it was due to her operations and offered conflicting opinions. Someone has claimed that Sophie utilized her cosmetic surgery to alter her appearance. Amani, one of her co-stars, had already exposed her on social media, where she had made multiple assertions regarding her makeover. As she continues on her own path, Sophie disregards the naysayers. No more today. What are you thinking about this gossip today? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned by subscribing to our channel to get more updates like this. Thank you.